In this video, we talk about basics, switch, and router settings. Setting Cisco router hostname. At the router configuration mode, we issue the command hostname and specify the new name for the router and then hit enter. Let's do it. Here we are at the router R3 private mode. We're gonna change the hostname to Telnet client. First, we need to go to the configuration mode, then issue the command hostname Telnet client and then hit enter. That's it, we have just changed the name of router R3 to Telnet client. When a Cisco router is initially configured, the router's DNS lookup function is enabled by default. This function is only useful if a router utilizes a DNS server on a network. Otherwise, it will cause the delays to the user, especially when they type the wrong command. It's gonna try to look up that command as a hostname. So to disable the DNS lookup at the router configuration mode, we issue the command no IP domain lookup, then hit enter. Let's do it now. We are at the Telnet client's private mode. Now we type hostname Telnet server, then hit enter. As you can see, it's gonna try to look up the Telnet server, and of course it's gonna fail because the DNS server is not available. Then let's disable the DNS lookup function. Let's go to the configuration mode and type in the command no IP domain lookup and hit enter. And now we type in the Telnet server again. As you can see, it just recognized as an unknown command and it's not trying to find the Telnet server anymore. Configure login synchronous. At the router configuration mode, we issue the command line console 0 and hit enter. It will bring us to the line console config, and we issue the command login synchronous and hit enter. Let's do it. As you can see, we have just disabled login synchronous, and now we type in the command show IP interface. And as you can see, the command stick with the login message over here. Let's configure login synchronous. We go to the configuration mode and go to the line console 0 and hit enter and configure login synchronous and hit enter. And now we do show run. And as you can see, the login message is in a different line with the command that we type. To set the size of section history buffer at the switch private mode, we issue the command terminal history size, and then we can set the size from 0 to 256. Then we hit enter. To set the default number of commands saved in the history buffer for the users of the console or VTY lines. At the switch line configuration mode, we issue the command history size, and then we can set the size from 0 to 256. Then we hit enter. To show the list of the commands currently held in the history buffer, at the switch private mode, we issue the command show history and hit enter. Let's do it in switch 1. Here we are in the private mode. We need to issue the command terminal history size, and then we put the question mark. As you can see, we can set the size from 0 to 256. for the size of history buffer. Let's put in 100. Now let's configure the history size in the line console 0. First we need to go to the configuration mode, then go to the line console 0. Now we can set the history size by issue the command history size and then put in the question mark. As you can see here, we can also set the history size from 0 to 256. Let's put in 100. Now let's show the history. As you can see here, the commands that we type and it held in the history buffer. By default, the switch will automatically disconnect console or telnet or SSH sections after 5 minutes of inactivity. To change this behavior at the switch line configuration mode, you issue the command exec-timeout and then you can specify the timeout from 0 to 35,791 minutes. Then you hit enter. Let's do it in Cisco Skill Switch 1. Here we are in the configuration mode. Let's go to the line console 0. Now issue the command exec-timeout, then put in the question mark. As you can see, you can set the timeout from 0 to 35,791 minutes. Let's put in 60 minutes, then hit enter. That's it.